Okay, let's jump right into this explainer with a scenario that I am willing to bet feels a little too familiar. Picture this. You're a contractor. You're 20 feet up on a ladder, or maybe you're wedged tight inside a really dusty crawl space, or you're running a massive, deafening pressure washer. Right at that exact second, your phone goes off. It's a brand new lead calling, but you literally cannot safely or conveniently let go of what you're doing to answer it. And you know what happens next? By the time you climb down or kill the engine to call them back, they've already moved on to the next business on Google. Look, if just hearing that scenario gives you a bit of a knot in your stomach, you are definitely not alone. So today, we're going to unpack a technology that's generating a massive amount of buzz right now. We're talking about an AI receptionist for contractors, and we're going to completely demystify this stuff. We'll look at how the technology actually works under the hood, what it can realistically handle on its own, and maybe most importantly, where its limitations are. We're cutting straight through the hype to see exactly how it solves that completely frustrating missed call problem. It helps to really reframe this issue from the start. The research points out that a lot of home service businesses don't actually have a lead generation problem. You have people calling. The real friction is that you have a lead handling problem. Because let's be honest, those calls always seem to arrive precisely when you are the absolute busiest. A ringing phone just shouldn't force you to choose between finishing the job right in front of you and capturing the next one. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll briefly hit the lead handling problem, define what an AI receptionist actually is, and break down how the tech works. Then we'll check out some real call examples, look at what it can realistically do, and wrap up with exactly what it cannot do. All right, moving into Section 1, the lead handling problem. And right into Section 2, what an AI receptionist is. In totally plain English, a virtual receptionist for contractors is conversational software. It's designed to actually answer calls, understand natural human speech, reference your specific approved business information, and take defined actions. Now, you might be thinking, well, I already have voicemail. But voicemail just records a passive message that you still have to deal with later. And it's not a traditional phone menu. Nobody likes those press 1 for sales trees that just trap callers in a loop. It's also not just a basic text chatbot, a human answering service, or a remote virtual assistant. By contrast, an AI receptionist holds a structured, two-way conversation to actively move the customer's request forward right then and there. Which brings us to Section 3, how the technology works. So if you're evaluating an AI answering service for contractors, how does it actually pull this off without sounding like a broken robot? Let's break down the basic process step by step. First, a customer calls and the system listens. It uses speech recognition to convert their spoken words into text or machine-readable audio. Second, it figures out the caller's intent, like do they want a new quote or are they a current customer with an issue? Third, it checks your approved business info and operating rules. Fourth, it asks relevant follow-up questions and produces a natural spoken response. And fifth, it actually takes action. It might book an appointment, record the lead, transfer the call, or create a follow-up task. The absolute most crucial point here is that the software isn't some rogue AI just guessing at things. It operates strictly within the exact services, pricing parameters, scheduling buffers, and escalation rules that you configure. Think of it as a really well-trained front desk worker who only has access to the specific rulebook you gave them rather than some all-knowing entity. Let's dive into Section 4, real contractor call examples. It is one thing to talk conceptually, but human callers are messy, right? They hesitate, they don't have exact measurements, they change their minds mid-sentence. Take this real pressure washing inquiry. The homeowner wants a quote but says, I honestly have no idea how big the driveway is. Now, instead of failing or aggressively forcing them to go outside with a tape measure, the receptionist accepts that uncertainty. It asks just one simple question at a time to figure out it's roughly a 2 or 3 car driveway, and smoothly pivots to offering a photo-based estimate via text message. It just naturally keeps the lead alive. Here's another one, this time from a junk removal call where a customer is cleaning out an old shed. The caller mentions things like old batteries and gas cans. Well, a smart system immediately catches that. It doesn't blindly promise to haul everything away. Instead, it sets a very clear safety boundary. It explains that regular junk is totally fine, but chemicals need special disposal. And then it safely escalates that hazardous exception to the business owner to review. Or check out this landscaping scenario. A caller has a really overgrown yard, but a firm budget of $300. The AI doesn't try to aggressively upsell them, and it definitely doesn't promise a full property miracle for that price. It simply treats the budget as a planning constraint. It works with the caller to prioritize the most important tasks, like getting that knee-high grass mowed first, and scopes out a completely realistic initial visit. Section 5. What it can realistically do. We really need to ground our expectations about what a well-configured system can actually handle today. Because honestly, it depends heavily on the platform you choose and your setup. But generally speaking, it can answer calls during the day or after hours. It can capture names, addresses, and service requests. It can ask your qualifying questions, check if an address is actually in your service area, and answer approved FAQs. Depending on how you configure it, it may even schedule certain specific estimates, trigger text follow-ups, or handle multiple routine calls at the exact same time. And equally important, Section 6, what it cannot do. Building trust with this tech requires radical honesty about its limits. You absolutely do not want a system trying to do everything and making costly mistakes on your behalf. The safest AI phone answering for small business is the one that explicitly knows its boundaries. It should never, ever invent prices or guess at a complex quote over the phone. It cannot promise appointment times that aren't available. It should absolutely not diagnose structural, plumbing, or electrical hazards. It shouldn't create unapproved discounts, and it must never handle safety emergencies blindly. Those have to stop and immediately trigger a handoff to a real human. So, the big takeaway here is this. The purpose of this tool is not to replace human expertise. You are the expert. The goal is simply to stabilize that initial interaction, capture the lead while they are actually engaged, and create a reliable, friction-free path to the correct next step. It handles the administrative heavy lifting so that your human attention is saved for where it actually counts. Now, throughout our source material today, one specific platform was highlighted for building exactly this kind of setup. If you are exploring an AI receptionist for contractors, Kisora is building an AI office system specifically tailored for home service businesses. It's designed to keep your scheduling, your estimates, and your follow-ups moving seamlessly entirely while you are out in the field doing the actual work. If you want to dive deeper into their approach, you can learn more over at Kisora.io. Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. Think about your last crazy, chaotic week. What would your day actually look like if you didn't get that knot in your stomach every time your phone rang while your hands were full? What if every single missed call safely and reliably moved your business forward? It's a pretty massive shift in how you can run a front office, and it's definitely something worth exploring.